welcome. It's Domain Day from Cheap Wine Finder again. Another wine to talk about. Going to France this time. Let me grab the bottle. We have the Louis Jadot Mâcon-Villages Chardonnay 2020. Mâcon-Villages is in... That's not how it's pronounced. There's a button on Louis Jadot's website that tells you how it's pronounced. You just heard how it's pronounced in Chicago. It might be different a little bit. But this is a wine from the southern part of Burgundy. Burgundy is where the most expensive or the highest rated Chardonnays and Pinot Noir in the world are. I mean, there's some fabulous wines there. Expensive, but fabulous. Bottom end of Burgundy is Beaujolais. Top end is Champagne. So it's a good place for wine. And this Louis Jadot Unoaked Chardonnay 2020, it's a young wine. Should be found for around $13. Could be under on sale. It's a pretty decent price for a quality French Burgundy. Took a sip. It's unoaked, so it's light and it's delicate, but it's got a little weight to it. It's got a lot of flavor, but everything's balanced. Nothing jumps out. It's got a little Anlise thing going on, that salty, nutty thing. Good acidity. Everything just flows. It's an excellent wine. It's really... I did it because I've been drinking a lot of California Chardonnay. And... actually, most of the winemakers in California have their eye on Burgundy when they make their Chardonnay. I mean, there is a California style. It is maybe richer, maybe a little more oakier. I mean, the two climates are not alike. And this Louis Jadot Mâcon-Villages has vineyards with limestone and chalk, and so you're going to get a little bit of that minerality that maybe you don't get all the time in California. And this is why I was looking for France this time, just to kind of center my palate again, because sometimes you drink too much California wine. You need to go back to basics, or go back to France, or go back to Italy, and just have a different take on it, just so the next one you have maybe a clean perspective again. And that's what this does. And Louis Jadot has been around since the 1850s. Nowadays they own their own vineyards, but back in the day they would just buy grapes and make their own wine, but they'd buy it from the other vineyards in the area. I'm gonna take another sip. This is a good wine. Which isn't like the typical thing for French. I mean, usually you get a guy who owns a vineyard and owns a winery and he makes his own wines. This was always buying grapes. This is kind of like how they do it in California more than anything else. But he makes his own. He uses somebody else's grapes, but he makes it, or they make it. Louis Jadot's long gone. And one thing they do, and they've always done, because they're always value oriented, even at the high end. They have taken some of their higher class wines, higher classification wines, and added a little of it to the class beneath that. So you're always getting a bit more. Maybe they're not putting 50% in, but they're giving you enough just to give you that little oomph and flavor, which is why they've been in business since 1850s. Like I said, the acidity, everything is really so balanced here. I'm going to take my third sip because it's one of those wines. It's clean. It's not oaked, and you don't miss the oak at all. Not at all. Yeah, sometimes with California Chardonnay, it's unoaked. I kind of want to get some of that vanilla going on, maybe some butterscotch flavors going on. I mean, those kind of things I look forward to in that, but here, the balance is just really nice, and it's not an expensive wine. In France, everybody drinks cheap wine. I mean, Aldi, Trader Joe's wines, that's Aldi. Both of those are Aldi stores in France. They're buying $5 or $6 wines to have with their dinner. No one's spending $40 a meal with their wines. Well, some are, but most people are buying inexpensive wines. And this is a step up. This is kind of everyday premium. It's $12, $13. This is not, this is a little bit above everything, but it's not overpriced. It tastes great. Any wine that tastes great is pretty much worth what you want to pay for it. And $12, $13 is a bargain, actually. So I'm kind of really liking this wine. This is very French because of the length. The acidity is perfect. The acidity gives wine length. And you tell a French winemaker the wine has great length, and they're so happy because that's what they're shooting for. And everything's lean and clean. And I'm going to take another sip, which tells you everything I need to know anyway. So it's from a producer that's been making quality value wines forever, and they make enough of it that you can find it everywhere. I found this in a supermarket, not a high-end grocery wine shop. So it's a wine that can be found, and it's something that if you're into California Chardonnay and you don't really know French Burgundy, this is the area of Burgundy that isn't the high end, but it is quality. So give it a try. So that's it for me, Domain Dave. Like us wherever you like your podcast, if you will. It makes me feel good. And keep it cheap. I think I got a sparkling wine coming up. We'll see about that in a couple of days. And I'll be talking to you. Stay safe, as always, and keep cool or keep warm, depending on how the weather is in September. And I'll be talking to you. Adios. Bye-bye.